Hey again, and welcome back to part 3 in our little discussion, we'll call it, of recent Transformers toy reveals in 2019. The focus this time will be on Wonder Festival and what we saw out of Japan in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Dennis Bolton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, and of course, subscribe. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, Transformers Collectors, NL, and me everywhere. And I want to give a shout out here to a couple of young guys, kind of just starting out in the YouTube game here. They, I think, do a lot of like streaming gaming content. J-Boss and Pro Domination Gaming. Check both of those guys out. And guys, what can I say? I appreciate both of you being along for the ride. Okay, so in part 1 we looked at all of the reveals and rumors that we got in January of 2019. And most notable there were things such as the rumors for the Studio Series line, some of which have been kind of proven to be true so far, and some are still kind of conspicuous by their absence. We also talked about how something like Optimus Prime MP44 is actually going to be getting a North American release, which I think is kind of unique. Even when we have gotten Masterpiece figures in the past in North America, we tended to get them with different numbering or perhaps their own kind of North Americanized packaging. But I think with the kind of brand unification between Takara and Hasbro, we're seeing some developments like this. Not only are we getting MP44 released here in North America, but he's going to be retaining the MP44 numbering. Then we talked about early reveals and whatnot that occurred at the beginning of February. This included things such as kind of rumors about the 35th anniversary line, right up to the first trailer, if I'm not mistaken, for Cyberverse Season 2, which actually looks more promising than I expected. Now, as I mentioned, that trailer for Cyberverse, that was shown on February the 9th. During that same weekend, we had Wonder Festival going on in Japan. I think Tokyo. Now, I didn't really know that this existed until the last couple of years, but this is a great opportunity to see some of your favorite upcoming figures. Now, few things worth noting came out of there. Perhaps the biggest star of that show may have been the MP45, which is a very cartoon-accurate Bumblebee. It is a brand new mold for Bumblebee. I believe that his pricing will be higher than we'd like to pay. He will be released in North America. I hear here in Canada he's going to be an EB Games exclusive. I guess we'll see how that works out. I saw it and a lot of people seem to like it. I think that MP21 is significantly better. I like the proportions of it better. I like the colors of it better. I get what this was going for. I do not like the feet, specifically the back of the feet, the heels. Now, some people have said, hey, why would you complain about that? I mean, you're not going to probably be displaying him backwards anyway. You're right. So maybe that's a minor gripe. I feel like the head is oversized and too wide for the rather svelte body. And it's strange. While a lot of people have complained that the Siege Mirage has a fake chest, nobody seems to complain that Masterpiece 45 Bumblebee obviously has a fake chest and a pretty egregious backpack, if I may say so. I kind of like the little Spike figure that comes with him, but that's it. I see it and I'm not impressed. I don't really like it. I've said it a million times. Masterpiece should be 10 across the board. It's perfection. That's what the word masterpiece means. I don't think Bumblebee is it. Not for me anyway. I don't... MP21 is one of those Bumblebees that we actually do have here in the house because one of the scraplets is actually a Bumblebee fan. Always has been. And that's a good toy. It's a good figure. It's a great Bumblebee, no doubt about it. I don't think we need this one, and I don't think it captures the essence of the character as well. And I don't think that using the defense that it's supposed to be animation accurate does it any justice. It doesn't seem more animation accurate to me. It seems like the proportions actually are quite off. I don't really like the gray. I don't like the yellow. I do like its alt mode. But that's about it. That's about it. I'm unimpressed with it. What I did find interesting there, however, is we saw, again, a gray prototype of Masterpiece Hound. Where's the color prototype for this? We have a color prototype of Bumblebee already. Hound was announced a long time ago, and we still don't have a color prototype for him yet. Something seems strange about that to me. We also saw on display a fully painted version of MP43 Beast Wars Megatron. The thing looks glorious. Overpriced? Sure. No doubt about it. But it looks beautiful. Absolutely. But it wasn't the only Beast Wars Masterpiece figure on display. No, we saw a gray prototype for Black Arachnia. And while I think the kind of web background, which I assume is going to be one of her accessories, makes for a great display, I don't know if it really has any other functionality other than being a nice display piece. The mold and sculpting for her is pretty fantastic. Now, granted, her chest region may be a little over detailed. Trying to be delicate with my word choice there, but you can check out the pictures for yourself and decide for yourself. Her face sculpt is fantastic. It is the stuff of nightmares, just as Black Arachnia should be. I am really, really happy to see more Beast Wars characters getting their kind of masterpiece love, because I think those fans really, really deserve to be able to embrace the characters that they love most. Now, I feel like the entire Beast Wars masterpiece line has been real pricey, and I expect the same with Black Arachnia. I kind of figure she's going to be cheaper than Dinobot and Beast Wars Megatron, but I feel like she's going to be more expensive than Cheetor and Shadow Panther. I'm not sure where she's going to fall, but it will be interesting to see. I'm sure that when we get full kind of color images and see the color model of her, she's going to look splendid. But even with the gray prototype now, it's no doubt who it was, and it came off, I think, looking very nicely. Though, admittedly, I could see some people, and I've heard this argument made, that she looks a little too rounded, a little too bulbous, and it makes the proportions slightly off. But I think that's the way she appeared in the animation anyway. Now, that's not all that came out of Wonderfest. We finally got to see some more, other than the stock photography images, we finally got to see some more images of LGEX Big Power. Die Atlas and the gang? Whoever saw that coming? I certainly didn't. Now, the argument could be made, hey, look, we just have a reuse of the trigger-happy topspin mold. Fine with me, that's a fantastic mold. We have a reuse of the, trigger-happy misfire mold. I'm probably the misfire mold more so than trigger happy. Fine with me. That was a great mold. And of course, Die Atlas himself is actually a reuse of the Overlord Sky Shadow mold. Really, the Sky Shadow mold. Again, works for me. Fantastic mold. I'm happy about this. It's pricey as an import. It is. There's no doubt. But I think that trio is fantastic, and we did not see it coming. I'll say this, though. Since we are actually having a big powered, and since we have Die Atlas, I'd love for somebody to somehow, some way figure out something to put together and create a Violent Jiger. I think that'd be great. I don't know how it would work. I don't know what it could possibly turn into or what sort of features it could have. But make a Violent Jiger, man. I'm down for it. Then we saw two other very interesting gray prototypes. One is an Armada-inspired Optimus Prime. Or it's just straight up Armada Optimus Prime. It looks great. I assume a Voyager class figure, I guess. But we already know we're getting a leader class Transformer Cybertron Optimus. Getting a Voyager class Armada Optimus, I'm down for that. I think that's cool. Yes, it's a bit of a different stylized look, but I think it's a great look. You know what would be nice to get? An RID Optimus Prime. I thought that was a great looking Optimus back in the day, man. And we got another great prototype. Obviously based on the Power of the Prime's Optimus Prime mold, which I love. I think that's a fantastic figure. But with some added detail. And then we find out that it's Star Convoy. Wow! Who would have ever thought Star Convoy? You want to talk about kind of really digging in to the lore? I mean, we have Big Powered and Star Convoy. Now a lot of people are going to say, so what? Who cares? Big deal. Who are they? In Japan, G1 continued on. We already know this. The very last thing that was shown was basically one episode. I think they called it an OVA. I'm not even sure what that means. OVE? I don't know. Of a program that was supposed to be a full series called Transformers Zone. And in Zone, the Autobot Supreme Commander ends up being none other than Die Atlas. After he's, I guess, handed the role of being Supreme Commander by Starsaber, I think. I'd love a Starsaber too, by the way. And for the Decepticons, they are ruled by Violin Jiger. Now, after that, there was a story done called Return of Convoy. And in Return of Convoy, Dark Nova leads the Decepticons and basically revives Galvatron, who was like kind of encapsulated in ice in the Arctic, and revives him and reformats him, or however he does it, as Super Megatron. And I think as like Ultra Megatron. And Optimus Prime gets revived, because in Japan he was taken out yet again. He gets revived as the ultra powerful Star Convoy. And Star Convoy beats Super Megatron. And then Star Convoy, I think, beats like Ultra Megatron. And then Dark Nova combines with like Super Megatron or whatever it was, and becomes like another grand being. And Star Convoy, of course, beats that as well. It's funny. Through all of the generation, through all of the years, through all of the lore and everything going through, timeline-wise, it always goes back to Optimus and Megatron, essentially. Nevertheless, Star Convoy, I am down for that. Get me one of those, man. We also saw from Super 7, I'm not even sure what they're called, but it's the Megatron and the Optimus, where like you can kind of see their insides, I believe. And if I'm not mistaken, I think we had a set of 4 figurines also shown in gray scale. I think it was there. And that was Optimus and Megatron and Soundwave and Bumblebee, maybe. They're just little figurines that look pretty cool. I almost kind of don't get Super 7. Like, some people really dig them, but I don't think there's any posability, and I don't think they convert. I think they just look cool, man. They just look cool. At Wonder Festival, we also saw some Siege figures. Most notably, Jetfire was there, and it was kind of the first time we got a really good look at him other than renders from product shots. It was when we got to see the physical form. Now, I was initially concerned because it looked like in plane mode the nose of his like jet section didn't tab in, but I think it was just mistransformed slightly. I've seen other versions of him since, and it seems like it works fine. He looks fantastic. He looks as fantastic there as he did in his renders. We also saw Brunt. Cannot wait for Brunt. He's going to go added to Big Triptychon up there. And Brunt, very much like Cog and Six Gun, can come apart into component pieces that can go on different figures. Naturally, the intention is for it to go with Triptychon, but you could use it with any figure that has 5mm ports. Me personally, I'm going to use it with Triptychon. As a matter of fact, my Cog is in pieces now, actually on my Fortress Maximus. So, I can't wait for him. That being said, something about Brunt suspiciously looks like it could also maybe be Beast Machine's Tankor? A reuse, possibly? Who knows? Starscream and Soundwave were also there. I like Starscream and Soundwave. I dig them. No problem. Bring them. Now, that being said, I don't like the battle damage at all on Starscream. I think it's way overdone. It's going to be a lot of work to get it off. But I was glad to finally see it from behind. There is a bit of a backpack. There's no doubt. There is a bit of a backpack. But it seems like it's very poseable, very movable. The wings can certainly move, because when I first saw it, I said, those legs really aren't going to be able to kick back. But you can kind of lift the whole thing up and the wings back, and it seems like they will stay held. Like, it seems like the tolerance and the tension should be very good, and he should have a full range of motion. Soundwave. About the only thing that I dislike about Soundwave is I don't like the battle damage on his chest, and my fear is that that's actually molded in rather than painted on and able to be removed. I like the mold. I think that it's kind of cool. We know he can do his lamppost thing. We have since learned that he can even turn into a cassette tape deck thing. Down for it, man. I absolutely dig it. Is it necessarily going to replace my Fall of Cybertron Soundwave? I don't know, because I got a real soft spot for that guy, because he was the first figure I got that really got me back into collecting here. There was an amazing Yamaguchi Optimus Prime, like a Revoltech type of thing shown. Cool if you're into Revoltech, I guess, or Amazing Yamaguchi. They have done great things with like Marvel characters, so I don't see why this wouldn't be another success for them, to be perfectly honest with you. Of course, MP44 was on display at Wonder Festival and looking glorious. Overpriced, but glorious. And a bunch of MP10 repaints that were next to shoes of the same color. I don't know what that's all about. I guess it's a cross-promotional thing, but like, I don't know. Do you want a bunch of MP10 molds again that are painted to look like shoes? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't even really like the MP10 mold. I've never been a fan of it. The arms are so limited. I mean, they go out to like, this far, and that's about it. Nah, it looks nice, but I've never found it to be the most functional thing in the world. Just not my thing, I guess, man. Just not my thing. Now that kind of brings us to, I think, the kind of conclusion of Wonderfest, which, hey, it was great. We saw some big surprises there, like Black Arachnia, like Star Convoy, for example. Finally seeing the physical form of a couple of things that we'd kind of only seen in renders, like Jetfire and like the LGEX Big Powered, for example. I mean, that was fantastic. But the days that followed would prove to be just as interesting. In fact, on February the 12th, MMC announced that they were doing a crowdfunding campaign for an IDW-inspired Fortress Maximus. And apparently you can kind of get involved through Planet Steel Express, I believe. I think that's like their site. And I guess if you get enough, I guess they'll produce this IDW-inspired Fortress Maximus. Now, it's not for me. My idea of Fort Max is the Titans Return Fort Max, or the G1. But I do know that there's a huge following of people that would love to have a Fortress Maximus styled after the comics. And this may be, pardon me, your way to get one if you are so inclined and interested in getting in on it. I'll say this, from what has been shown, it looks pretty cool. The design looks pretty neat. I guess we'll see how it pans out, and if the crowdfunding takes the project far enough. Again, not to be outdone, because we've already seen Dark Constructor, we've already seen Orion, or Knight Orion. Toy World with another showing. And this time it was of Bulldog from the last night. It was that old, like, run-down, senile tank that was being taken care of by Sir Edmund Burton. And we've seen the painted images of this thing now. It looks amazing. The alt mode is the weirdest kind of tank, but it's accurate to a World War I tank. I think it's going to be fantastic, but I don't think it's going to have thigh swivel. I don't think it's going to have the most posability, but I think it's going to look beyond astonishing. Now, not to be outdone by MMC and Toy World, we got a preview of the upcoming Cyberverse line figures, and I'm surprised by what we saw. Enough that I have said for the last year that Cyberverse is not a line for me. I don't like it. I think it's gimmicky junk. I think it should not exist. I don't know if the powers that be have actually heard my wishes and my gripes and those of other fans or not, but I feel like we're getting some very interesting things coming up. So what were we shown in the preview as of February the 11th? we learned that Spark Armor is going to be kind of the new gimmick thing, and it's basically the figures come with an accessory that comes apart and goes on them to make armor. We've seen it done before. I don't care about that so much. I don't really care about the armor, but I feel like the base figures are better, and we're getting different size classes. I'm not sure exactly how they kind of stack up and where they sort of fit in, but I think the first thing to note is who we're getting and kind of what features they tend to have. So first up we have Battle Class. Prowl, whose face looks real. The only thing I can think of to say is it looks real chubby. It looks like he was stung by a bee and like his cheeks roll up. But the rest of the mold and the articulation look top notch. We have Skyfire, who looks alright, a little stylized. I mean, he's not as big as he should be, but he definitely, you look at him and you'll definitely know that it's Skyfire or Jetfire, whatever. Starscream, who I think this one actually has knees. Now, that being said, I don't understand why the like colorings on his wings are purple. He's gray like Starscream should be, but the colorings on his wings seem morally wrong. No, it's not purple, but whatever. I mean, I think functionality-wise, it's a much better figure. And whoever saw this one coming, Skybite? Skybite? And he looks like he's a pretty good Skybite. Kind of a bland face. Not exactly the mouth that Skybite should have, but it's kind of cool to have him, and I think he may function better. Big May, function better than the Generations one? The Generations Voyager one we all know is kind of a hot mess. This one looks like it has decent articulation and a fairly simple transformation. Now that being said, I don't know how big this like Battle Class is. Something is telling me it's going to be smaller than Deluxe. Something, or Warrior Class if you will, something is telling me that they're only going to be about Legend size, traditional Legend size of like about 4 inches or so. I kind of hope that's not the case. I think that'd be a shame because they look like they have real potential. If they're making them smaller to accommodate the armor, don't. Just give us the figures, leave the armor out, give us the figures at the proper size. Simple as that. But I think these 4 have great potential to be something really special. And then we saw another size class, Elite Class. And we saw Bumblebee, Megatron, and Optimus, the standard 3. But all of them look really good. Really good. The Megatron is a huge step up from both the Warrior Class and the Ultimate Megatron. At least this one has elbows. Though I'm not sure if this Megatron has knees. And the same goes for Optimus. I certainly hope so. If so, they may be tremendous figures. I don't know the size they are, though. I don't know where they fit in. Is Elite Class really big, like a leader size thing? Or is it about, like, Voyager size? I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I know that I like it. I dig it, man. I like the look of it. So I guess we'll find out what Elite Class is. And then, in a class kind of all to himself, we have Arc Optimus, where he has a little version of the Arc, and the Arc comes apart and becomes his armor. I don't care about having the Optimus, but you know what? I kind of like to have a little Arc in my display. Why not? I'd love to have the Arc. Even if it's from Cyberverse, it looks close enough to the G1 to fill my tastes. On February the 13th, inching ever closer to Toy Fair, we found out about the new wave of BotBots. I'm not really into BotBots. They're cute and all, but like I'm not really into cute. And we have brand new group names, if you will. The Spoiled Rottens, the Music Mob, the Swag Stylers, I think. I don't know. I think it's Swag Stylers. The Fresh Squeezes, the Playroom Posse, and the Season Greeters, which I guess are going to be related to holidays, festiveness, I guess. More of these have been shown. As a matter of fact, I believe all of them were given names later on. I think that came out like during the weekend at Toy Fair. I'm not going to go through the names of all the BotBots. It's not like we're going to remember them all anyway. But they're all, these kind of cutesy names like we've seen with the Wave 1. If you've been into BotBots up to this point, I think you're going to dig Wave 2. If you haven't, I don't think anything Wave 2 is going to change your mind. Not changing my mind. It's not for me. They're cute and all. It's just not for me. Oh, there's also the Goo Goo Groupies, apparently. I don't know what that is. I don't know. More BotBots bots for everyone. Then on February the 14th, Valentine's Day, we got a new trailer for Season 2 of Cyberverse. And we found out that Cheetor is going to be there. We're getting Skybite in Cyberverse and Cheetor. What? I'm not sure how they all fit in the same universe, but why not, man? I'm down with seeing Cheetor and Skybite again. Why not? Bring them on. And then that brings us to February the 15th. And you know what happened on February the 15th, don't you? We were officially deep into Toy Fair 2019. And that is going to be our focus next time. But for now, I appreciate you dropping by. Let me know what you think about the reveals right up through Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3 so far. I'm excited about many of them. Not all of them are for me, but I am excited about many of them, both official and unofficial. You know, I can't wait to hear your thoughts about them. I appreciate you stopping by, giving me some of your very valuable time. And we have one more part to go, Part 4. And I very much look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit right here inside the videos.